Brought to you by 133 Kennels, a Trap Art Canine production. BRC Global, the Bully Marathon continues. Founded by BRC host Hildrey Glover, dogs from around the country gather here today for a chance at winning the race. The dogs that are competing in this race will have their stamina, brain power, and sure will tested. They must perform their best in front of crowds of people and judges. But this is not a race to the finish line, but a race to the top for breed points, and that sweet victory when holding that Best in Show trophy. Welcome to another episode of the Bully Versus. The Bully Marathon continues. Hosted by Hildrey Glover takes place in Canton, Mississippi. 2 huge rings, ideal for showing the dog's movement, and also gives handlers plenty of room to show off their skills as well. As a handler, it can be one of the most intensifying experiences to most who don't understand the pressure that is upon the shoulders of these handlers. In the world of conformation showing, dogs must exercise confidence, smooth movement, and a correct silhouette. Having an experienced handler, or even becoming an experienced handler, can make all the difference in winning in the ring. A handler must move the dog at the correct pace for a more presentable look. Some handlers get their dogs to perform a stack or desired behavior better with a bait. We'll be right back with Bully Versus. Show 1 judged by Corey Latham. A very experienced handler is going to put hands on, observe, and judge the dogs from the Bully Marathon continues. Very strong competition here today is all the dogs line up to get judged. Taking a look into the American Bully class from 6-month-old puppies to fully matured adults. They must compete against each other for a chance to make it out of their class and compete for a Best in Show win. Neelan Pham, a known handler around the country, who handles Grand Champion Gustavo, who is only 1 major away from championing BRC. She will have to compete today not only against the other males, but females too. What a beautiful female handled by William Struther with bullets and bullies. William has to obtain this next win in order to secure points for their BRC title. While briefly interviewing William, members of our team wanted to know how could he himself overcome adversity, and what could he do mentally to prepare for the Bully Marathon. Then he replies, "I just do the best I can every time we get inside the ring. Oftentimes I prepare myself mentally way before we get to the show." William and his girl will go head-to-head against the other female. Judge Corey Latham is explaining his call to both of the handlers on why he's choosing the dog that better fits the standard set forth. William walks away with the win as Judge Corey Latham had a tough decision to make. Introducing Richard Kelly and his male as they are preparing to enter the ring. As we dive into the next segment of the show, let's take a closer look into our judge for Show 1 as competition intensifies throughout the event. Richard Kelly, a highlighted newcomer, will be showing his dog King Lou, a young male set forth to obtaining points under Judge Corey Latham. Richard Kelly and King Lou must not only outperform their competition, but fit the breed standard more than the rest of the dogs he's up against. Richard has been working with King Lou and expects him to perform as practiced at home. As Judge Corey Latham carefully looks over each dog, he has choose which dogs are worthy of getting that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place ribbon. King Lou and Richard Kelly are focused and ready to perform a stack for everyone watching. ABKC Grand Champion Gustavo must really catch the eye of Judge Corey Latham if he wants to advance to the next round against Agape Kennels and Zoom, the black tri-male. Zoom is a standard American bully who's made a name for himself at the previous Bully Marathon event, taking home some first-place awards. When members of our team interviewed Agape Kennels on how he felt going into the ring and Zoom's performance, he replied, "Every day God wakes us up is a good day, and we're just ready to get in the ring and show." Zoom has put on some mass since last year's event, so he should do good against the other dogs here today. The atmosphere is full of joy here at the BRC Global Bully Marathon continues. Decision time for BRC Judge Corey Latham. He signals for everyone to gate their dog around the ring. The term gate in dog shows refers to a dog's movement, a trotting motion that is performed by the dog with a handler in the ring. The dog should move smoothly, in a straight line, and at the correct speed. The handler should allow the dog to move freely and naturally. Which of these dogs will advance to the next round? What an eventful evening so far at the BRC Global Bully Marathon continues. Hosted by Hildrey Glover, the MC just called out for the fun show that will happen soon. Meanwhile, we revisit two handlers from earlier today, Fam and William. Both are competing again, but this time with different dogs. William is now handling his male American bully, Broly. Broly is an American bully that is already a champion in the BRC Global registration. A new Bully vs. Spotlight prospect, Bolo, has come here to collect a champion title. Bolo has to put on a performance to get there. However, he has to go up against not only class dogs but champions and grand champions too. Fam and Gustavo take the ring against Bolo for an exciting matchup. Bolo gates his way down the turf once more, shortly trailed by Fam and Gustavo as they enter the last leg of the ring. Bolo doesn't want to cooperate with his handler, but that doesn't mean they can't get it together in time to pull off the win. Fam has Gustavo focused, and he's working for her really good. Will Grand Champion Gustavo get the win under Judge Corey Latham? The suspense holds so much uncertainty with such well put together dogs. Bolo, with such a nonchalant demeanor, finally sticks a decent stack to collect the win. What a great win for Bolo, as he glides past Grand Champion Gustavo to advance to the next round. Up next, the multi-category fun show, presented by the BRC Global Bully Marathon continues. CMK Tonio, one of the founding members of Bully Versus, has been selected to judge the Bully Marathon Continues multi-category fun show. Tonio absolutely loves showing dogs and has a very good eye for picking the best dogs. Today he is tasked with such an idea. With help from his son Eno, the fun show is underway. Nate Robinson III, the founder of Bully Versus, is handling a micro-American bully in the fun show ring. A fun show doesn't score you any points, but receives you bragging rights and some sweet rewards. The BRC Global Fun Show at the Bully Marathon Continues has many categories, some of which requires that a dog be a certain color, breed, look, or simply down to performance in the ring. Tonio must practice the most upright respect and integrity while he is judging. That means doing what's right in spite of the cost, even if he has to look a friend in their eyes and choose another dog. That's exactly what he'll do. Bully Versus would also like to personally highlight the American bullies have hosted Hildrey Glover and 133 Kennels. When members of our team interviewed Hildrey, we asked him what this show means to him, and will there be more shows for 2025? He replied, "Putting on this show isn't for money, but for our community, and creating a safe place for the future of our breed, the kids." And yes, the Bully Marathon continues March 29th, 2025 right here in Mississippi. BRC Global. The Bully Marathon continues, hosted by Hildrey Glover. The show is now firing on all cylinders. Dogs are posing in the ring with hardware for pictures as some dogs line up for Tonio's next class. We have the best in show lineup on deck, in which handlers only hope to obtain some hardware with such stiff competition. Our Bully Versus Spotlight handler for this fun show is none other than Thaddeus Robinson, known around the country for handling some of America's best dogs. BRC Global host Hildrey Glover says this is the moment of truth. Not a lot of people take in consideration the hard work that comes with being a successful host for a registration. When members of our team asked Hildrey what's a future goal for the 2025 Bully Marathon Continues event, he replied, "We will have a new location. A totally different building that the people are going to be amazed with. Much better building than this year's event, with heating and cooling, good food, just all type of vendors. There will be people who have different businesses, and we also like to give back to the dog community. The whole Bully Marathon Continues will have a whole better vibe." I want to simply bring our community together and show some nice, beautiful dogs. Grand Champion Dageloaf takes home the BRC Global Best in Show trophy for the Bully Marathon continues. Continue watching the Bully Versus and see what happens next at the Bully Marathon continues. The BRC Global Bully Marathon continues, hosted by Hildrey Glover. Winning in the fun show will sometimes be more difficult than winning in the sanctioned show. More dogs, more people, and more eyes on you and your dog when competing. Thus makes it harder for a judge to single you and your dog out of the rest. This makes winning a wonderful feeling. With the fun show completed, emotions are high for everyone who competed in the fun show. What a moment to indulge. Winners take pictures to post on social media sites, mostly on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube. As the Bully Marathon continues, so does the handlers and dogs coming back to the ring. Waiting with its handler, what a beautiful pieball XL American Bully, ready for the judge to evaluate them. It is almost time for Judge Corey Latham to finish out the XL category and make his final picks for Best in Show. The Best in Show lineup consists of every breed winner from each breed available. You will never see two of the same breeds competing for Best in Show. If available, usually there will be one of each breed. For instance, the French Bulldog, Fluffy French Bulldog, English Bulldog, the Old English Bulldog, the Exotic Bully, the Micro American Bully, the American Bully, and XL American Bully. Some shows will even have the American Pit Bull Terrier and other breeds associated with the registry. But the BRC allows most breeds to compete, not just the bully breeds. This makes it extremely difficult for a judge to pick between. Judges must pick a reserve and ultimately a Best in Show winner solely off of the dog fitting its breed standard the best. Handler Nate Robinson, with a young XL American Bully male, will be tasked with getting past the older, more bigger dogs in the class. It is very possible that he could punch his ticket to the Best in Show lineup and score some breed points. Breed points are calculated by how many dogs were beaten when winning the best of breed. Participants must have competition in the ring from at least one other dog for your points to count. Just receiving the award does not mean the wins counted without adequate competition. Judge Corey Latham, an Alabama native who's bred and handled dogs, knows what he's looking for when breaking down the standard for these dogs. He's been trained and put into position by the Director of Judges, Anthony Pope. When members of our team reached out to Corey for an interview, we asked him what are some things that made judging challenging for him. He stated that judging is challenging from the beginning, but having a very nice lineup of dogs would be the most challenging. We also wanted to know what are some key factors in choosing a reserve Best in Show and the Best in Show winner. He replied, "I go by the breed standard. It's what we all should be pushing forward to. Each and every breeding should be bred towards the standard set forth in our registry. My judgment begins the moment the handlers and the dogs walk into my ring. When they do a class call and the dog comes walking into the ring, I begin judging in that exact moment because there's no pressure. They're just trying to get in and get lined up. The dog is content and comfortable with a nice little stroll. That's what I'm looking for, because in that exact moment, it will allow me to see their natural gait without any form of manipulation whatsoever." Part of being a good handler is hiding a dog's flaws. I wager that into my judgment as well. I love to see the relationship between the handler and the dog. When I have two really nice dogs, I like to break everything down. Then it gets down to the point where I have to, if you don't mind me saying, splitting hairs. Anyone that knows me knows I prefer big bully dogs. That's my preference. But you will not see me pick my preference over the standard in a confirmation ring. When asked why judging is so important to him, and what are his outlooks on judging, he replied with, "When you break the breed standard down and you judge accordingly, you set the foundation of the breed and the direction it goes. That's what makes judging so important to me. As far as being a judge, I want to strive to be a person I never had when I first started with showing dogs. I am not a prideful person. I can't sit here and tell you that I know everything there is to know, but I do try to focus my attention throughout the day on these dogs and learn something new. I've seen the dogs move. I've seen the bond each and everyone has with their dog. There's a lot to look at when you have to pick between the best two dogs out of the lineup. But ultimately, the question that comes to mind is, which one represents its breed class the best? I think I've made a decision with my reserve best in show, and that goes to our French Bulldog, aka the Frenchie. Picking a best in show can be nerve-wracking. Any judge that gets presented good quality dogs in the lineup is going to get nervous. As Judge Corey Latham takes a final look at the lineup, he will choose who will be crowned the best in show winner for the BRC Global Bully Marathon continues. He takes one last glance at the dogs, then walks towards the lineup. Fam and Bolo did it. They have punched their ticket to sweet victory. The newly crowned winner didn't just win the best in show, but he is now an unofficial champion. Congratulations to our Bully Marathon Continues Best in Show winner, unofficial champion Bolo. Handled by Neelan Pham and owned by Chris Simmons. Also congratulations to the Bully Marathon Continues Reserve Best in Show winner, Grand Champion Chris Whitesingh, handled by Lois and Joe Villarreal and owned by Robin Adams. BRC Global host Hildrey Glover is announcing the next show judged by Luther Rankin, which ran simultaneously as the show before. Agape Kennels will start us off for show 2 of the Bully Marathon Continues. We were able to squeeze in and get some of the action from Ring 2. The race isn't over yet for Joe as he steps into the ring with Robin's Grand Champion Frenchie. Joe and Lois have high expectations throughout the Frenchie class. Both Joe and Lois have their eyes on the prize to finally pull off a Best in Show win under Luther Rankin. Joe already handled his way into a reserve Best in Show trophy in Show 1, but he must put on a well-put-together performance in order to catch the attention of Judge Luther. The American Bullies have entered the ring. More than halfway through the show, we get to see some exciting matchups and get an insight on judgment from Luther Rankin. Handler Lois Villarreal is working with a female American bully. Lois travels the country in search for titles. She's champed and grand champed many dogs. Everyone who knows Lois knows that she is very easygoing and has experience handling many breeds of dogs from Frenchies to XL American bullies. Lois told us that she loved handling and that it was her passion. When asked what she loves about handling, she replied, "After all of the hard work, miles upon miles of traveling up and down the highway, battling through real-life situations. I mean, all of the blood, sweat, and tears. Stepping into the ring with these animals makes it all worth it." Judge Luther signals for the handlers to gate their dogs around the ring once more and stack them up to their best ability. Lois and William gate their dogs and get ready to line back up for a stack. Once a stack is performed, Luther will take a final look at the dogs before picking who gets the win. Lois will lead the class first. She must get the dog focused enough to perform a clean stack. She sticks the landing, but will it be enough to earn her and the blue tri-female the ribbon over William and his female American bully? There are some beautiful dogs in this lineup. But ultimately, it will be up to BRC judge Luther Rankin to decide that factor. Finally, William gets the win. When asked, Judge Luther replied, "The reason I chose his dog was, it had not only cleaner qualities, but overall its movement. Your dog has to be able to move fluent in my ring. Yes, both dogs had good movement, but my winner had better movement. Sometimes it comes down to a deciding factor, and most of the time, it'll be movement." BRC Global host Hildrey calls for more dogs to come into the ring. We are almost coming to an end for Show 2. Judge Luther must pick his best dogs so that they may see through to get to the best in show lineup. Some may have an idea of what they think the dog should or shouldn't have, but the BRC judges must go by the standard put forth for the breed. Judge Luther wants to see movement, so he calls for the dogs to perform a gait around the ring once more. When members of our team asked what exactly are you looking for when it comes to movement in these dogs, he replied with, "Movement will differ in each breed. Some breeds just move better than others. But ultimately, when I'm watching the American Bullies move, they should have a steady pace with good drive and extension. The dog must carry itself with confidence and look fluent. Sometimes you get dogs that come into the ring and don't want to perform, and sometimes you get dogs that come in and know exactly why they are here. I'll know the difference and make my picks accordingly. FAM and CMK will go head-to-head in this matchup. It will be no easy task for FAM to get the win over CMK with Beast Boy. Lois steps in the ring with Slammer. She will have to compete against older males, but that has never stopped her from keeping her confidence. She says, "Winning or losing, we are out here having fun." Next up, we have some exciting matchups as we come to a conclusion of Show 2. We will be back shortly with the Bully Versus. It is time to start the next American Bully class. Bolo and Fam will start the class off. Bolo is looking to add another win under his belt. He is highly favored to win in this round, but at any time, any one of these dogs could win. It's all about the standard and performance. The judges must observe the dog that's in front of them. Even though everyone saw that Bolo won a best in show today, doesn't mean that he will win every single best in show. He must earn it. Judges must check a dog's bite, or otherwise known as teeth, to ensure that the dogs have a clean bite. A clean bite for an American bully means all of its teeth are there and they interlock in a scissor-like form. This means no underbites or overbites. It is not a disqualification, but will alter a judge's opinion about a dog if it came down to picking between the best dogs in the lineup. Judge Luther loves what he sees and asks for handlers to perform a gate around the ring. Volo did not get a chance to go up against CMK and Beast Boy last show, so this will be their first time meeting. Luther must make a hard decision that could go either way for each of these dogs. Pretty much all of the dogs in the lineup could potentially win over Luther's judgment, but he's got his eyes set on both Fam and CMK. Judge Luther asked Fam to move from the front of the lineup to the back with CMK. It is very common for judges to move dogs in a lineup. This allows him to see the dogs for a side-by-side comparison. Who has a more desired look? Who has the stamina to hold a stack the longest? CMK and Fam both must perform a clean stack and hold it. Beast Boy starts to slide on the turf, and this very well could be the deciding factor in Judge Luther's decision of who should win. Fam and Bolo are awarded the win and advance to the next round. As we are coming to a close for Show 2, dual Grand Champion Street Shark and his handler work the ring along another Grand Champion dog, the female Grand Champion Dejlo. Street Shark is looking to acquire a best in show under Judge Luther. Street Shark and his handler Corey Polly will have to outperform the other dogs in the ring, as well as capturing the eye of Judge Luther if they want to obtain a win and punch their ticket to sweet victory. Street Shark moves exceptionally well, but will this be enough? Will he have what it takes to defeat such a nice dog and compete against Joe in the Brindle Frenchie for best in show? Due to it being the Grand Champion class, Judge Luther must make a split decision between the two. Who will come out on top, Dejlo or Grand Champion Street Shark? Back to Judge Nathan Lemoen's ring, as we will switch back shortly to see the results of Show 2 with Judge Luther's picks. Richard and King Lou take the ring again under Judge Nathan Lemoen for the first time. Richard has even more competition in Show 3 as more dogs have signed up to compete in his class. Meanwhile, Judge Nathan Lemoen has his work cut out for him while Show 2 is running its course. The Frenchie handled by Joe wins the BRC Bully Marathon Continues Best in Show trophy, and Street Shark handled by Corey wins the Best in Show Reserve under Judge Luther. Corey Polly, a Bully vs. founding member, is happy to come out and compete and win some hardware under Judge Luther and plans to compete in Show 3 under Judge Nathan. When asked how he thought Street Shark performed, he replied that Street Shark's movement was on point, and so was his stacking. But Joe earned that Best in Show win. Grand Champion Migos, handled by Thaddeus, will be looking to gain their first Best in Show for the BRC Marathon Continues. Thaddeus performs a beautiful stack with Migos. Will Judge Nathan Limon advance Thaddeus and Migos to Best in Show? Migos has the breed type over the other dogs and moves exceptionally well around the ring. With that being said, will this be enough to get the win? It's time for BRC Judge Nathan Limon to make a decision on which dog deserves the win. Thaddeus and Migos capture another win and advance to Best in Show. Thaddeus and Migos are now in the lineup for Best in Show. When members of our team asked Thaddeus how he felt being in the lineup and does he believe Migos has what it takes to be crowned Best in Show winners, that he replied, "We are most definitely going to capture this Best in Show win. I can feel it. The connection between me and Migos is very good. Plus I'm hands-on with any dogs that I handle. I truly believe we will perform well enough to win and take home the hardware. There's some nice dogs in the lineup, but I have to trust in God and just do me." Thaddeus and Migos have a very good chance at winning the Best in Show trophy here at the BRC Global Bully Marathon Continues. Thaddeus and Migos. Now Best in Show contenders must perform the best in order to take home the hardware and be crowned the Bully Marathon Continues Best in Show winners. Migos and his handler Thaddeus executes a well-put-together stack. Now it's up to Judge Nathan to decide who wins the hardware in the final showdown. Thaddeus and Migos stick the landing, awarding them the Bully Marathon Continues Best in Show trophy. Congratulations to all that competed, and see you next time on Bully Versus. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.